Hey guys, welcome to Hang with Willie. I am your host, Willie Mayette, creator of Hang with Willie, Piano with Willie, and Jazz Edge. Today, episode number 5, I'm going to give you some insights into how I like to practice. And specifically, when trying to create new songs and just practicing new grooves and time signatures and whatnot. Now, there won't be any sheet music for today's lesson, all right? And it might also be quite advanced for you. So my suggestion to you is, like, literally hang with this. Hang with me on this, all right? Like go with me on this, because you can always find a little piece of information somewhere in there, even if it's advanced. All right, so now this morning I came into the studio and I just, sometimes I'll just sit down, I start playing and just practicing and just exploring the instrument a little bit. And one of the things I was working on is with a drum track in 7. Let me play the drum track for you. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2. Now, if you've never played in 7 before, that might already be like, whoa, you might not even known that you could play in 7. Well, yes, you can, all right? So, and how I feel this is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So you can feel it like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, or 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So you can kind of feel it as kind of like a small 7 or a big 7. Like the small 7 would be like the 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. But notice what I'm doing is I'm breaking it up into 2, 2, and 3. This is duple and triple, right? So all meters, right, in music, meters meaning 4, 4, 3, 4, and whatnot, a little bit of music theory here for you, are either duple or triple, okay, which basically is a fancy way of saying it. They're either a multiple of 2 or a multiple of 3. So when you're in 4, 4 time, that's a multiple of 2. So that's what we call duple, D-U-P-L-E, right? Or if it's in 3, 4 time, or 6, or 9, it's what? It's triple, right? And we can also have a combination of duple and triple, and that's what 7, 8 is. It's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and of course you could do 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. You could change stuff around, but that 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 is very common. Now, there's what we could feel in that 7, 8 is what we could call a clave, right? So in Latin music, that's a so it'd be like There's a 3-2 clave, or you could do a 2-3. And if you're interested in the claves and Latin music, check out my montunos and progressions lesson on the Piano with Willie site that goes through all of that. And clave and montunos and progressions. I think those are the 2 titles. So anyway, so this 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, so now I got this cool drum beat here. Now I was sitting down and I wanted to come up with a progression. Now, being a jazz musician, I tend to, well, I always try to be honest with you guys. So I tend to overthink things, all right? That's probably my nature. Just that's the way I am naturally as a person. Is I tend to overthink things. And you know what? I know I'm not alone. I know there's others of you out there that overthink things as well. I'm learning though, so it's a work in progress. But I will overthink things a lot of times in terms of a progression and because you got all this harmony and theory in your head. You're like, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this, right? But a lot of times, simple works best. So I was working on this progression. Check this out. Let me play it for you. progression is actually quite simple. It's notice I'm keeping this same chordal pattern going on here, right? And it's I'm thinking it's in the key of F, so it's like an F chord up to a B flat to a G minor, and it's just a passing chord, F over A, G minor, and it's D minor, C, back to F. So it's very much like a rock progression right there. So 1 to 4 to 2, 6, 5, right? And I got a couple of little passing notes in there. So left hand here. So, all right, a couple of things here to clue into. First of all, this same chordal pattern working over all of these chords. Now, the reason that works is because this is diatonic to the key of F. I'm not moving outside of the key of F, right? This these are all chords diatonic, right? So 1, 4, 2, 6, 5, all right? So, so when it's diatonic like that, I could play pretty much anything from that F major scale and it's going to work. Like, check this out. Right, like it. Like even that would work. Even though it's like really tense, it still kind of works. Right, so I can like mess around with just playing notes from that F major scale. All right, so now I got a progression here. I got something going. I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna start to loosen it up with the left hand and the right hand. And what I tend to do is like I'll start with something simple like that, and I'll start to branch out. So let me play and show you kind of what I'm talking about. All right, now, let's talk about that. So, as I start to play this, I'm going to try things that are going to fail, okay? Like, I played a line in there that it just all kind of fell apart. Now, if I was playing a gig or something, well, then you're just going to keep going. But this is more of an educational thing, so I can stop and kind of throw myself under the bus and tell you how I'm making a mistake here, okay? Because I make mistakes just like everybody else. So how do you work through that? All right. So when I'm practicing this stuff, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to rhythmically come up with patterns that are going to fit within this this 7/8 progression. Okay. So Sometimes, as I've told many of you, I might write out a rhythmic pattern and I try playing that rhythmic pattern. Sometimes, a lot of times, I do it organically. I do it by feel. So I'll put on this drum groove, and you notice I just start to like improvise around stuff until I find stuff. Oh yeah, I like how that worked, and then I'll try it again, and I'll try it again, and I'll try it again. Okay? So everybody has their own approach to how they'll do this. But the point is that I'm starting with a simple progression, and then I try building upon that and try coming up with new lines. Now, let me tell you a mistake that I tend to make, and one thing that I'm trying to change in my own playing is that rather than working on something and keep playing the same thing over and over and really expounding upon it and building upon it, I'll tend to go to something new. And a lot of times that's not a good approach. So one thing you could do is like, notice what I'm going to do. I'm going to like really try and stay more pentatonic now. Maybe throw some blues stuff in there, but I'm going to really try and stay pentatonic, and I'm going to really try, and this time mentally when I play it, I'm going to try and really percolate and bubble. And what I mean by that is I'm going to try and take a simple idea and expound upon it rather than, moving on to the next idea, all right? And the last thing I want to share with you is that, this time, I said this time when I play it, that's important. So when you sit to practice something, have a mental idea of, well, what is it that you're going to do this time? Because if you're just like, oh, I'm just going to sit and practice, you're not going to get as much out of it. You're going to get a lot more out of it if you say, okay, this time, this is my goal for this time as I'm playing through this. So my goal right now is to percolate and really let these little ideas flourish into something bigger. All right, so here we go. All right, so you see how I started with some simple ideas and I started to move on from it. It's funny because like when I play, when I really play, I close my eyes. So I'm like closing my eyes there and really kind of seeing it in my mind as I play it. So then when, normally on gigs, it's like, it's not so bright as it is here. So when I open my eyes, it's like, whoa. So anyway, so you see how I'm percolating with an idea, so I'll start with an idea. So you see how I took those three notes, and I really like just tried to find as many different permutations. I didn't even do double stops. I could have done that as well. But you hear how I was able to go through like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 times the progression down here while still just working on these 3 notes. Now I'll add on maybe another 2 notes. Okay? So I'm just adding a little bit each time. So right, so now there, the mistake that I'm making is I was trying to like get like that constant pattern in it. Now that, I would write that out because I would want to see, well, where do they line up so I could practice that, okay? Or I could even just do it with drums. So it's close. I'd want to write that out to like really figure out, well, how many times do I have to play that pattern in order for it to come back to one and really hit it solid, you know? So there are certain things that you write out, certain rhythmic, you know, it doesn't even have to be notes. You can just write out the rhythm of this. But what I was saying before is that I started to get off and I started to like play a little bit too much. I wasn't percolating enough. I wasn't really sticking with the same thing over and over again enough, okay? Like you could really just exhaust the possibilities. Now, the other thing that you'll probably notice is that, you know, playing these 5 notes, like the major pentatonic stuff and like throwing like some little grace notes and whatnot, not a lot of notes to choose from. So what do you go for? Like what is it that you, how do you create an improvisation when you have so few notes? This is where rhythm comes in. Okay, so you notice that the playing that I'm doing is very rhythmic. So this time I'm going to go through and I'm really going to focus on like rhythmic playing. Focus on like, you know, not just staccato and legato, but like really accentuating certain notes. Bring it back down. Maybe go to a different section. Anyway, I'd figure out like another section to go through. Maybe going down to the E flat is kind of cool, but I'm not sure if I really like that or not. But so some takeaways. I want to make sure you have some takeaways here so that you have something that you can practice. A couple of points, all right? So I wanted to keep this, I'm sorry, I know some of you probably are like mad at me because, this lesson is a little bit more free-floaty. I want to give you something a little bit more advanced, and sometimes I like just getting away from the music because sometimes we can get too analytical about things and we can really just like get so focused on the music. Sometimes it's just, I want you to just hear me play and, you kind of get something from that. You get what you get. Because I get a lot when I listen to other players play. If I watch someone else, I'll be like, oh, I like that. Thank you very much. I'm going to take that, all right? I'm going to use it in my own playing. But anyway, let me give you some takeaways right now that you can work on. All right, the first thing is, when you start your solo, think simple, okay? I noticed that almost everybody that sends me a video and like starts soloing, they like start soloing and they do all their best stuff within the first 12 measures, right? And then after that, it like all falls apart. So save your best stuff. And in fact, what you might do is that like as you become a better improviser, you can kind of arc through the entire performance. So if you're going to play like a set, 2 sets, 3 sets, a whole night, you don't play the first like two songs and like just tear it up. No, you kind of ease into it. And then maybe the middle of the first set, it's like boom, boom, and then in the end of the first set, you build it up. And in the second set, you might start low again and build it up again. Third set, you might bam, like get right in it, like like play like stuff that's just tearing it up, and then kind of bring it down and then end high again. So you can really start to dig into your intensity level and kind of dial it in or dial it back. So think simple, and then really, when you sit down and practice, try to really expand upon that simple idea. Like, when I took 3 notes, don't just play the 3 notes. Okay, that's it. That's all I can do. Well, now you can. There's a lot of different possibilities that you can get, and try and sync those into the groove. And what I mean is like you're really just trying to like. You're really just trying to like get it into the groove so that it feels like the left hand and the right hand are working cooperatively together. Another thing, really, really important concept to take away, and that is that when you're sitting down to practice, don't just sit down and practice like mindlessly. Sit down with an intention. So have an intention in mind that, okay, I'm going to do this time, or the next time I go through, okay, now I'm going to try doing this, or no, I'm going to try doing this, okay? The more that you have an intention when you sit down and practice, the more you're going to get out of your practice session, okay? So if your intention is to like work on a specific idea or a concept, then have that in your mind before you start to practice, okay? Be telling yourself, be asking yourself, am I thinking about that? Am I doing that right now, okay? Have that intention in your mind, okay? So anyway, I will make sure that this drum track is available for all members of Piano with Willie. Just go to the courses. You'll see the Hang with Willie episodes, and a 7/8 drum track will be available. So you could try playing along with it yourself. That's the bass line. I'll play one more time with the... That's wrong. That's it. So there you go. There's the bass line. So anyway, have fun with that. I will see you guys next week in the next Hang with Willie, and thanks for joining me.